I did redeem myself from last time. Got that 24-0. Drew won the second game.
Is that only game two?
Yeah, it was game two.
That was game two.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a
Yeah.
rubber match.
Yeah. We got time. What's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. It is Tuesday evening, so I'm gonna just recap my weekend and week. So as you saw, Friday we went to Emmet's, and then we went to Ned Devine's. Ned Devine's makes a great blueberry lemonade vodka. For all of you that are over 21, very smooth drink. Saturday, what did I do? Mr. Crepes in Somerville with Juliana. That was great. That's a great place. Good quality food. Walked around. And Saturday night had the space themed party at a friend's apartment. That was great. It's always good to it's fun to conversate and meet new people. It's funny how quickly you go, deep sometimes with random strangers because they don't really know you, and you'll after you get the what do you do for work, like you go to the what are you passionate about, and it's always fun to do that. Sunday, I forgot to vlog it, but the adult basketball league that I'm in, we had our playoff game. We lost, so that's over. That is certainly, for anybody moving to a new city, definitely a great way to meet new people, is joining like a sports league like that. Just interact with more people your age living nearby. And then I went to the beach. That was great. Went to M Street Beach in Southie. Nice to always just hang out there on a Sunday afternoon with your best friends, see the water, all that. In terms of life thoughts, so it's interesting. Somebody that I'm close with a couple weeks ago talked about how their dating relationship ended, and how it stunk because they had been vulnerable and had been emotional, and told the other person personal details about their life, and I think obviously that's very tough, but one of the things that I told my friend to remember was that's a sign that you were willing to go all in, and vulnerability is a critical sign of any relationship, and being willing to be vulnerable, and open and honest, and create that level of trust. That's what that always shows, is this is an emotional part of my life that I'm willing to share with you, and so I just told my friend to give themselves credit for doing that. Because that meant you were trying all in. I would, it's one of those situations where, I don't know if this is a good metaphor or not, but like, in order to put yourself in the position of success, you need to risk something. So like an actor needs to go on auditions and risk not getting called back. a person that wants to get married in life, either needs to be asked out or needs to ask someone else out. And in this situation, for a great, successful relationship, I think being vulnerable, being honest, talking about your past and things of that nature will be necessary for successful long-term relationships. The other things that are on my mind, first I watched Snowden for the first time. It was on Netflix. I thought it was really interesting. It gives you a little perspective on, what the government is doing with regards to keeping track of people. For me, honestly, though, I felt like some of it is justified. If the government needs to do that to anticipate, terrorist attacks and maybe prevent them or prevent large crimes or drug dealing or things of that nature, if by following what people are saying and things of that nature, that keeps public safety better, especially with terrorist attacks, innocent people losing their life. You never really want to see that. Obviously there's a flip side of, are the proper protocols in place so that the power is not abused? And I think that's what Snowden was trying to talk about, in terms of maybe like secret warrants or, people within that had certain powers and certain security clearances, having the ability to abuse their power. Certainly that's always going to be a problem we face in life and with people in positions of power. And so I understand that argument. But I mean, personally, I think I am in favor of the government tapping us, honestly. And that might be controversial, but I'm happy to listen to anybody's thoughts on that. If you want to have a discussion. The other thing I watched on Netflix was Untold, Malice at the Palace. It talks about the 2005, I think, brawl that happened between the Detroit Pistons, the Indiana Pacers, and their fans. It was just interesting, because I was very young at the time, and so it was just interesting to get the players' perspective on that. And how media coverage is, there's not a ton of media coverage on the person that threw the beer can at the time on Run Our Test. But there's a lot of media coverage on the players, and obviously they have a responsibility to never, I think it's an unwritten rule never to go into the stands at the time, and now obviously it's a written rule. But yeah, so that's kind of what's on my mind. Everything is otherwise well, just really busy, and hope you guys are doing well. Drew and I playing Madden. This is game 2. I beat him the first game. I think I've only beaten him with the Ravens. So we'll see if I can get a W here. What's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. It is Thursday. So Thursdays I obviously review the vlog, do the final edits and things like that. And so as I was reviewing the vlog, the things that I said on Tuesday, I just want to clarify in terms of the Snowden and the Malice at the Palace. So, I mean, basically, I guess to sum up my take on Snowden was just that I wanted to say, from a public safety perspective, I don't know if there's anything else we can do. I'm happy to hear other people's arguments on the flip side, but just, I think it's one of those things in life that you kind of have to accept, that we have to trust, that the people in the CIA, NSA, all these government organizations, are holding themselves to a high standard and not abusing their power. I don't know if there are ways to implement systems to ensure that, but ultimately organizations are people, and people aren't always good, so there's always that risk. But I guess my take was, from a public safety perspective, I'm fine with the government tapping individuals that they may be concerned about, with regards to committing crimes or things of that nature. And then in terms of the Malice at the Palace, I guess, and I didn't articulate this well, the main thing that I was talking about with media perception is, for example, right, I think the NBA only had like 3 total officers that night. Maybe it was even 2. That is not a fact that, and I'm a pretty avid NBA fan, but that's not a fact that I've learned until this documentary came out. And that's an important fact, because it's like, whether it's 2 or 3 officers, like 3 officers patrolling 30,000, 18 to 30,000 people, depending on an NBA stadium size, doesn't seem adequate. Obviously, they've made changes since the brawl, but that's an aspect where, and rest in peace, David Stern, and but like, the NBA would never really, I mean, at least from my perception, never really talked about owning that fault. They were just really on the players, and that's a huge fault too. And obviously now when you go to stadiums, there's, I want to say at least 20 to 30, if not more, security officers, and each section has one. So that's one thing that I feel like, when these things are brought up, is never brought up. We often are blaming the players, but the system of having enough officers was also not adequate that night. The other thing I wanted to talk about, I had never known that there were chairs being thrown at Jermaine O'Neal, which, depending on the angle, depending on the force, could kill a human being. So that was an interesting development. And, I think, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but like, the person or fan that threw the beer on Ron Artest, like, he's not as known as Ron Artest is. And he's the reason why Ron decided to go into this fans, at a fan anyway. It's just interesting that, like, as avid of an NBA fan as I am, I have no idea what his name is, but I mean, like, a lot of people that maybe even aren't NBA fans know who Ron Artest is. The other thing I wanted to talk about, which I had in my notes for Tuesday evening, less controversial subject, was, I found that, like, hanging out at like an apartment, I feel like, is like so underrated, and is like not done a ton of, it's like, and I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like more people should do it. Like, I think we only go to like people's apartments, I guess, for like pre-games, but I'm like, even on like a weekday, if you just want to hang out with a friend, like, I feel like just going to their apartment, like hanging out on like, whatever, the couch, bed, chairs, like wherever, like I think it's just so underrated. Like Drew and I have been playing Madden probably like now more on a weekly basis, and like it's just nice. Like he comes over, we play Madden, we talk life, uh, and it's just I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like it's funny because like I don't do that when anyone else really. Um, and I feel like if I visit someone else's apartment, it's usually in preparation to go to a party or something like that. So, curious to hear your thoughts on any of those topics that I've mentioned Tuesday and Thursday evening. Um, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. See you guys.